Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Tuesday, and it looks as if we may be seeing the beginning, hopefully, of a follow through day. We're not there yet, but hopefully, we will get there soon because that means that we may see an uptick in the market, which would be great. We all this negative news for so long. I mean, who knows if we get an uptick? We don't know how long it's going to last, but we're starting to see some setups. And the interesting thing that happened today, of course, was that Netflix had very good subscriber growth, and that has been just terrible for the last 7 months. And the question is this a bottom for Netflix? Now, I'm not ready to buy Netflix yet, but I tell you, I like what I'm seeing here. I like what I'm seeing in that, we're starting, it looks like, to get some support. I mean, we were up on Friday, Monday, now Tuesday. I mean, if we can hold tomorrow, if we can be up tomorrow and then finish today on an up note, with increasing volume on two or more indexes that's moving up, then we may have a follow-through day by Thursday. And Thursday, when you have a follow-through day, that's when we get out the watch list and we find out what's the best thing to buy. I'm going to try to put out a modified watch list here after the show. In order, though, to get it, you got to be on. The best thing to do is be on the trade alerts, and you can get on that, of course, by going to www Dallas Trading Floor, or if you're watching on TikTok, you can just go to go to my link, click on that, and just first and last name and an email address. And because I'm going to try to put this together tonight. Hopefully, I'll get it out tomorrow, and this will be like a ready list of things that hopefully are ready to buy if we get that follow through day. Now, I started wading back into the market a little bit. Let's go to one that I just bought today. This is AEHR Test Systems. Interesting company. They do tests in they do tests in the for semiconductors, of course. But the interesting thing about this and why I think this one bears a look is the fact that they do it for silicon carbide. For silicon carbide. Now, the interesting thing about silicon carbide is that silicon carbide is sort of the latest thing, and it's better than regular silicon. Most chips are very sensitive to heat and other things, but silicon carbide has a much wider heat range, and it's starting becoming a very dominant process. This company, AEHR, makes test equipment for this. So we will see what's happened. It did a nice breakout today. I might have brought it a little bit high. I mean, I kind of, maybe jumped the gun a little bit. I did only buy a half position. I didn't buy a full position, but this is not an expensive stock. It's like an $18 stock. And, who knows what will happen, but I'll keep you updated on it. This is the one I did buy today. It's still below the buy point. So, there you go. Just wanted to show you bulls versus bears. And of course, this is a slide that we do all the time. And let's see if we can go over to the TikTok so we can see it on TikTok. But this is something that this is something that we do all the time. And the writers that write about that write about in the financial press, they basically poll them, and typically what'll happen is when the bears move above the bulls, that's when we're likely to see a reversal. So interestingly enough, the bears are, at an all-time high. Well, not an all-time high, but quite high. They're 44% here, with the bulls being only 25%. So it does kind of look like we may be coming close to one of these times where we have a reversal, and hopefully this will be a reversal to a little bit better market. Now, obviously, it's not going to be the kind of market that it was, back in, going back. I mean, it's not that strong. There's not as many setups But it does look like some long beaten down sectors like chips, chip equipment, and even, Netflix. Now, I don't have a Netflix now, but even Netflix, it's looking pretty good. I mean, the numbers were pretty good. Basically, only have 2 things right now, out there. So I have really sparse holdings. I'm mostly in cash still, but I'm starting to wade back into the market because it's telling us, that it's time to come back in. Both are up today. That would be Exxon and this company AEHR, the AER Test Systems. Um, the thing about AEH, they're tremendous buying, 168% up in volume and over 10% price change. So we'll see what happens there with that. So without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. Thanks for holding, everybody. And let's see. Okay, so switch that over here. Can take a question from TikTok first. By the way, if you want to see all the charts and everything, just jump on over to the YouTube feed. It's easy to do. Just go, if you're on TikTok, just go to my profile, click on the link, and then there is a direct link to the YouTube feed. Okay, so let's see. What business? I don't know what that means. Okay. Okay. Thank you for following. Oh, let's look at Tesla. Tesla did move up today. I've been not very bullish on Tesla, so maybe there's something that's going to happen there that that's positive. I'm still a little bit concerned, and I still think that that Tesla is trying to mount a is trying to mount um, a move here, but we'll see. So let's look at Market Smith. And by the way, I use Market Smith from. I don't get any money for this, unfortunately. I wish I did. That would be great if I did, if I got some money off of this. But I use Market Smith from IBD, and that's the charting software that I use. It brings together a lot of good stuff in one place. So let's take a look at the Tesla chart here. And flip on over to that. Um, we did have some pretty good after hours action, and who knows? I mean, it may have bounced at 200 because we had one, two, three up days in a row. So that's looking pretty good. And it looks like we're closed. We've closed above the 10-day line. Let me just check that to make sure that's indeed the case. And 222.50 is where the 10-day line is. We're at 223.95. So we've closed above the 10-day line. I'm liking this action. So yeah, we may get a little bounce here. That'd be great. And we may get a bounce up to hopefully up to the 21-day line. Basically, I'm not into Tesla, but we could move up easily to 243 on Tesla. That would probably be where resistance is. But nice bounce off of the bottom of the consolidation at just a little over 200. So that's very strong. What I like here is I'm seeing some very good uh, volume come in here to Tesla. So that does look good as well. Basically we've got, it's got earnings in one day. So hopefully if we get Tesla here making, making the kind of move that I would like to see, if we get Tesla making the move back to positive, that would be a wonderful thing. So let's get that. I didn't show you that chart. Let's get that chart up right away. So yeah, so basically, and I wasn't actually showing it properly, but this is the chart of Tesla, of course, and let's get back to that Tesla chart. Person in TikTok, you can see that it's that little upward. It looks like it looks like it bottoms at about 200. We're up 1, 2, 3 days. The question is, can it continue higher than this? Well, one of the things I'm seeing is a little bit of consolidation there, but it does look like if it can get above that 10-day line, it looks like it may be continuing up. I probably would not be a buyer to on this one because the EPS is going to be basically in 1 day. So it's best to see kind of what happens with the report on Tesla to see if it makes sense. To see if it makes sense to be in it. So let's get some other questions. Thank you, Charles. Always love your stuff. Um, LMT, of course, that's Lockheed Martin. XLF, that's long term. XOM out to third week December. Okay, very good. Yeah, I mean, I'm in it. That's one of the few ones that I'm actually in as well is Exxon. So let's look at Lockheed Martin LMT, and it got a nice LMT got a nice bounce. And I wasn't looking for that, so it definitely looks like we may be getting hopefully some overall strength in the market. I mean, this is a blue dot today. It basically bounced higher, and it's above for the first time in a long time. It's above that 200-day line. That's the black line here, and so I definitely like the fact that it's made that headway. Now, this might been a short. I don't know, but I think it's based on the earnings. Earnings were much better than expected with with Lockheed. Let's take a look at kind of see what the results were for Lockheed. And yeah, the sales were up 3%, which they've been lagging for Lockheed for quite a while. Profits up 4%, so that's definitely in line. Cash flow is still strong. Very good PE ratio for a company like this. Basically a PE of 15. I probably wouldn't be a buyer here, but this is a good chart. It's looking good. Now they do expect a loss this year, down about 18% from their previous, and then and they're projecting in 2023 they're projecting a gain. So kind of interesting there. Probably would not be a buyer of this though. I think that there may be there's some better merchandise out there. We'll see. What's going on there. So let's look at. Oh, okay. So let's look at Exxon Mobil. Of course, I am to hold Exxon myself. Again, I don't have a very large position in this. I only have a half position, which is not very big position really in this, considering everything. It's sort of a small it's sort of a small position. But let's take a look at the chart for Exxon Mobil and see if we can discern anything there. Let's go over here. There we go, and kind of see that. There we go. You can kind of see it on the chart where that straightened up there. Looks a little straighter. 101 after hours, so definitely moving nicely. Still below the buy point, the 105 buy point right there. And but it's moving up nicely. So we'll see. I mean, let's see if we got a pattern on it. Consolidation pattern. The pivot is at 105.57, which means that basically that's going to be your resistance, and hopefully we'll move above there. Let's look at the volume. A little bit less volume than I'd like to see. I like to see blue bars with strong upward action. So it may be running into some resistance there. I'm not sure. But one thing I really do like about ExxonMobil, it's got a 100% checklist, and I think that's pretty good. And even though the price of crude came down a little bit today, I think that very, very likely that we're going to see, at least until the end of the year, I think we're going to see some appreciation in some of these bigger international oil companies. I just think it's very likely based on kind of where we're going with it. All right, let's look at B Dory. I don't know B Dory. Let's look at that. B Dory. Not a stock that I know much about. Huh. Okay. Well, no, I don't seem to find that one. So let's see if I can get another one. All right, there we go. Okay, so Charles, another one. Lots of volatility. But what about PR? Hmm, all right, PR. Permian Resources. Interesting. Well, this is interesting. This is also in the royalty trust, the number seven. So oil, even with the pull out, it pull down a little bit in crude prices today. The oil stocks are still holding up there. It's right at a pivot, 887. Probably not. I don't know if I don't know much about this one. Um, 7 out of 9. That's pretty good. Just want to look at the kind of want to look if there's a short squeeze. I just always looking for kind of, well, it's got a lot of short interest. Yeah. Okay. So 6 days. It's got 6 days short interest. And let's see if we can let's see how much of this stock is short. Now, by the way, this is kind of how I do it, but let's put it in there. To look at how much of this stock is short, we go up here and we look at how many days of we have. So we have 6 days times the average amount of shares traded per day, and the volume is 7718,100. Okay, so that's going to give us, those are the amount of short stocks. Let's divide that by the float. The float here, move that over here. You can see the float. There we go. So the float, oops. Oh, it's not giving me the magic here. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at that's the number that is short. Let's divide that by the number in the float. It's 199,500,000. Okay, that's one more zero. Okay, so that's million. So there's a lot of shares of this out here. So let's take a look. Well, about 23% of Permian Resources is short here. So this is a situation where we want to be a little bit we want to be a little bit careful here, because I do think that this is probably going to be a short squeeze. That's what it's looking at. Typically, when you have this many shares that are typically when you have this many shares that are being held, that are short, you're going to see probably a short squeeze. Now, that could be good or bad. Obviously, you can make a lot on those pops, but this one I would kind of be really a little bit careful on this. This is very heavily shorted, and it possibly could move against you. So I would probably advise it, at least for right now. I would probably advise against this one based on the short interest. So that's something that I would kind of look at. But very interesting stock. Thanks for bringing it up. Let's look at the spider for Christina and see what's going on with the spider. And of course, the spider is an ETF that covers the S&P 500, and it's the biggest. It you know it, it's the biggest of the ETFs that cover the S&P, and it's one of the original ETFs. Interesting thing, I was saying that I thought it was going to move down basically to 320. So I was very much more bearish than it's looking like it's being. So I kind of have a little bit of egg on my face here. I was saying that we were continuing to trend down to about 320. I don't think that's the case. It looks like it's interesting. It looks like it bounced right at the bottom of the consolidation, and that's very interesting. It's amazing how close a lot of times these it's amazing how close sometimes these are, because and part of the reason why is looking at these index lines is because the algorithmic traders trade off of them. So they tend to be resistance points along the way. So basically it just spiked down to 347, and then boom, it got traction and it's moved up. But it does look like we're in an upward trend because there's two very nice very nice volume bars. We did, of course, we had the down day on Friday on Thursday, and then we've been up for the last 2 days. So this is looking very good, actually. The question is it above the is it above the 21-day line? And it definitely is. It's just barely. It's right on the 21-day line at 37. The 21-day line is 370. So if it can move and hold above this 21-day line, it's probably going to go higher. I mean, definitely going to go higher. And the question is, where is it going to go? I think it's going to probably come up. It may go as high as 400 because I think that this is going to form a ceiling, the 200-day moving average. So that's kind of what it's looking at, but really interesting. Really, really interesting on that. So thanks for that question. That's a great question on the spider. All right, let's take a look for Doc. I love that name. Um, and see kind of what's happening here. Cups and handles, I see them everywhere now. Ah, very good. Tell me, Professor. What keeps the 4 to 5 year chart of BTU from being a giant cup with handle? That's a good question. Well, it's amazing, but these are you're starting to see fractals, and that's how it is. Cup with handles are all over the place, and once you start seeing them, it's sort of like, it's like when you bought a new car, you're driving down and you're like, when you bought a new car, you thought, oh well, this is the greatest thing ever. And then you're driving around after buying that new car and you're like, man, there's a lot of people that bought the same car as I did. So once you start to see cups and handles, believe me, you'll see them everywhere. So let's look at and let's see. You're looking at the BTU. Okay, that's Peabody Coal BTU. And they're one of the most liquid of all the coal stocks. There's not that many liquid coal stocks out there, but this is definitely one of them. And this sector has been asleep for literally ever. I think since the 1900s, but it is definitely we're starting to see stuff happen. Let's see what the AI says on this, because I want to definitely take a look and see if we have any pattern recognition. They don't have any patterns on this one. But yes, you're right. There is sort of a consolidation long term, and it's there. So let's go to the kind of the Wayback Machine. Let's go over here to the monthly chart and take a look. As you can see, well, maybe you can't. There we go. All right, you can see it there. In 2020, this thing just cratered. I mean, it was below 1. That's unbelievable. And then it just a big old V. Big old V here. If we look at it, we look at that. Let's go to the weekly and see if there's anything more discernible there. Really, I think it's really only really visible on the weekly chart, and that is this is the trend really since December, and this is really interesting. Since December of 2000. Now it's interesting. This would be about November, December of 2000. This is sort of when this is sort of when this last this was the kind of the COVID crash, and then we came up, and that started it. Then basically it was on an upward trend until we got here basically to January 2001, and then we pulled back early in the first few, we pulled back, but and then in 21 we made a new high. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, we are sort of in a consolidated range. So, you know, this is what happens. What'll happen is a stock will move in a way that typically it will come down, it will get resistance. In this case, on the weekly chart, this is the 50 this is the 40-week line. I mean, sorry, the 10-week line, and it'll get support on it, and then it'll bounce, and it'll come back, and it'll bounce, and go back up with it. Now it's sort of in this consolidation. Now, even though my pattern recognition says that it isn't, this is sort of a consolidation. So this isn't really a cup with handle. This is what I call a consolidation. So right now, we are nearly at the top of the range. So my bet on this one is probably, I probably would not buy it here. I would want to buy it as it pulls back to the 10-day line. About 28 would have been an ideal. I'm sorry, about, yeah, would as it comes down to that. But see, no, ideal would have been, I'm sorry, about 24. We're a little bit extended above that. This looks like it's just trying to find its footing. This is really going sideways right now. It's just really going sideways, and it's sort of coming down. It's bouncing off of the 10-week line, and then it's coming back up, and then it's bouncing. So right now, this chart is in consolidation. So right now, probably not a great chart pattern to buy BTU on, even though there's tons. They need coal in Europe really badly. Not a great, but it's really not a great way to buy it right now, Bob. I hate to say that, but I don't think it is. So it looks like we're going to get a bounce. Hopefully we'll get a fall through day tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does, then that's when we want to really start looking at our watch list and see what's breaking out, what's set up nicely. Bank having a nice, yeah, absolutely. What do you think about the finance sector? I like the finance sector, but only parts of it. I'm not big in the money center banks, but I like the regional banks. I really like the regional banks. And there's an ETF, and I can't remember the symbol of it, that covers the regional banks. So I definitely like the regional banks here, and I definitely think they'll be really, really good. So that's something you should definitely look at. The regional banks have been doing extremely well in the last, in the last go round. The money center banks, not as much, but the regional banks looking very, very good. All right, Mr. Jeet, let's take a look at Netflix and QQQ. Let's take a look at Netflix first, because I think it's so significant. NFLX. And this is really, again, this is not my style. Typically, when I'm buying, I don't like to buy off the bottom like this. I'm not a good bottom fisher. I'm a trend trader. But as you can see, we have a consolidation going on here. If we're looking at the weekly chart, and this is the consolidation, and it basically goes from about 215 or so up here to right below 250, about 245. So currently, 280. So currently, we're at the top of the we're at the top of the consolidation, and we've broken. I think we've just about right. We've broken out. We haven't quite broken out of the consolidation. As you can see, there's the consolidation, and hopefully we're going to move above that tomorrow. Now, would I buy it here? No, I would wait until we move beyond that consolidation. That's where I would be. That's where I'd be looking to buy. I mean, we're basically right there. We're basically right there. But I want to take a look at the buy point that the computer is calculating for me, and then see if I agree with it. Basically, we're just 4% below the pivot at 251.99. So, could you buy it here? Well, the question is there enough strength? There was It's interesting because there was a lot of selling. Let me look at I want to look at the weekly chart to see kind of what the numbers were. See if they've been updated yet. Let's see. Go over to let's go over to the numbers. See if I can get that. Yeah, go over the numbers here and see. Okay, yeah, very nice. Well, it doesn't show the most current numbers, but the big issue for Netflix has been subscriber growth, and apparently, from what I'm hearing, they blew it away. So we might have seen a bottom for that would be very interesting if we did. We might have seen a bottom for Netflix. I want to kind of look at the monthly chart to see if that is indeed the case. And yeah, I think we're getting support, definitely. This is kind of where I think ultimately, that's where I expected support at about 130, was basically down there. But it does look like, at least for right now, we are getting some support. And oops, oops. So there, oops, oh, it's not letting me do it. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay. So that's the support there at about 171. And that's where it was just a few days ago. Well, just a few months ago. Now it's moved up here. It took this big, big, big gap down here. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this one actually may be getting some support. That would be amazing if it did, because if this is one of the fangs that has been performing the worst. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to take a look at how this one is doing to relative to Meta, because I think that Meta is in some trouble. Isn't that interesting? It's basically, basically very similar to, it's basically very, very similar. Let's put that up there for everyone. Yeah, see, because this is Meta, and oops, here we go. Yeah, this is Meta is in the red, and the Netflix is in the black, and so it looks like Meta down, and that looks like the trend. The trend is down, but it looks like Netflix maybe making a move up. So that's very interesting. This was the big gap down that this was the big gap down that I was trying to show you right here from there to there, and so that was really, really bad. That was the last earnings report. They didn't work. So it's looking pretty good. Now, would I buy it here? I probably am gonna wait on this just because I just wanna see the reaction, but this is good. This could pretend a follow-through day, and that would be a very, very good thing. Okay, we're almost at the end here. Thanks, everybody. What about Neo? Gosh, I hope you're not still in Neo. I hope you're not, because it has not been a good performing stock. It really just hasn't been working as well as some of the other ones. Let's take a look at Neo though, and see, if we can kind of look at. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's now a $12 stock. Wow, that's amazing. I can, I traded this one pretty vigorously, but it's still in this downward trend. Let's go to the daily chart to see if there's anything there. No, no, it's just you just don't want to buy this stock. I don't think this is bottomed yet, even though we did get a little bit of a bounce here. I don't think this is bottom. It's got a relative strength of 9. So I think you got to be careful with this one. Automobile manufacturers 172 out of 197. So definitely not the best performing sector, at least in the last few, at least for the last few quarters. So not looking good on Neo. I think you gotta just cut the plug on Neo. I don't think it's unfortunately one that you want. Oh, geez. Tesla has bottomed. Would you bet? It's hard to say. I'm hoping that Tesla's bottomed. If Tesla has bottomed, then we can confirm its bottom, which I don't think. It seems like that 200 is very, very, is a very strong, is very strong. If it does, then I think that may give us a nice leg up. But the problem, what I'm thinking is happening with Tesla is that when you get stocks like Tesla that have these mega runs that have gone up, just again and again and again, month after month after month. Eventually, they come to a point where they sort of have to rest and consolidate. And I definitely think that's sort of happening with Tesla. I mean, it seems to be this 200 level seems to be very critical for Tesla, and it just seems to be this is where it's bouncing. I mean, this is where it bounced basically back here in May and June. So it's sort of this is the floor, and it does kind of look, at least for right now, that the ceiling is just a little bit above 300, maybe 315. But this is the trading range right now, and it's sort of Tesla seems to be stuck in this trading range from basically 200 on up to about 315. So, here's the thing. I mean, you might be able to get a nice little run, but I doubt it's coming back to where it was before. And what we're doing, we're looking at the monthly chart here. I don't think it's coming back to there. It's right now. This would have to get on a split adjusted basis up to about 400. And I think that there's resistance at 300. So right now, I think this is a market perform stock. The relative strength is 29, which isn't, which is that means that 71% of the market is better than Tesla. So right now, I just don't think Tesla is set up well to take advantage. And I just it's not the easiest. They're not the easiest thing to do. So I don't think it is set up as well. Well, that's pretty much it for today. If you're not, oh wait a minute, Tesla, yeah, it's bottom. Well, I hope it's bottom. I think you're right. I think it's in a consolidation from about 200 to about 213. So that's kind of where I think that's kind of where I think that Tesla is going to go. Right now, it's getting support at 200, and it could go as high as 315, but I don't think it's likely to go much higher than that, at least not in this current market condition. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for taking a look. Also, if you haven't already signed up for Dallas Trading Floor, super duper easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com, first and last name and an email address, and that will get you on the list. And then I'm going to try to put out something more on ready list. Hopefully, get it ready tonight and then send it out tomorrow. Because if we do get a follow through day, that's where we want to start making a buy. We want to be wading back into the market. We've been in cash for a long time, at least I have. And now it's time to get back in the market if we get a fall through day. Is there any way to back out Exxon Mobil and CVX from CLA? I don't know if I can do that. Interestingly enough, Charles, the XLE is primarily made up of um, those two stocks, CVX, Chevron, of course, and Exxon Mobil. That's about 90% of the XLE. So what I could do, let me see if I can chart both of them and see if we can do it that way. This isn't going to be exact, but Exxon Mobil, XOM, go to the weekly chart there, and then let's make a chart of this. And let's put in CVX and kind of go there. Put it up there for everyone to see on TikTok. And so if we look at both if we look at both Exxon and Chevron, you'll notice that Exxon is outperforming just by a tad, but they're pretty similar in terms of the way that they move in the market. This represents about 80% of the XLE, but I suspect, and because this is share price weighted, that Exxon maybe a little tad more of that. But unfortunately, with the XLE, I can't strip out all the components. I need to, I can't really strip out the components. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. But that's a good question. But basically, the XLE is ExxonMobil and Chevron. And as you can see, since since the first of the year, they've been trending up. Let's look at the last quarter. I want to look at the last quarter here. 712022. That's kind of look see, and this is a little bit easier to read chart here. And you can see that it's very similar in terms of their um, their action. Exxon's a little bit outperforming uh, um, um, Chevron. One of the main reasons, of course, is the share price of Exxon is lower than Chevron, so that's part of the reason why. But basically, it's almost a 50-50 weighting in that um, in the ETF. All right. Well, thank you very, very much. Again, if you aren't already if you aren't already a member, of course, just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. First and last name and an email address, and we'll get you on that list. And I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again, everybody, so much. Always a pleasure doing this when my stuff works, which isn't always the case. So please smash the like button. I know I say this every time, but please smash that like button because that helps us me a lot. And if you're interested in joining the special Discord group, that's also available. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor and you'll be able to find out more about that. All right, I will be back tomorrow at 5. Thanks again, everybody. Happy trading. We're coming into a period where we may get an opportunity here with the follow through date. That'll probably happen on Wednesday. So till then, happy trading.